and welcome to a Slacker's Guide podcast. We'll be sharing tips on business plans, technology trends, health improvement, and much more. Let's get started with your host, Achilles Penn.
Hello and welcome to another episode of A Slacker's Guide podcast. I'm your host, Achilles Penn, and today we will be discussing renewable energy sources, the good, the bad, and the ugly truth. Before we get started, let's take care of a little bit of house cleaning. Visit us at AchillesPenn.com, follow us on Twitter at AchillesPenn, subscribe to our YouTube page, our Instagram page, and anywhere else social media is available. Now today's hot topic for today is geopolitical topics for 2020. Renewable energy, alternative energy, clean energy, and green energy. All these terms are becoming increasingly more common, so let's learn what they are, how they affect your life, and rank which ones are most economically viable and feasible in 2020. Now the first question at hand is, what is renewable energy? Renewable energy is energy from resources which are naturally replenishing but flow limited. These energy sources are virtually inexhaustible over time, but limited in quantity. Now let's get through a little bit of known facts about the history of renewable energy. Romans used renewable energy to heat their houses by moving warm air beneath floors and interior walls. Solar-powered planes set a world record by flying across the United States with no fuel at all in 1990. Siemens builds the first ever commercial offshore wind turbine big enough to power 6,000 homes 30 years ago. Albert Einstein receives a Nobel Prize in Physics for his discovery of modern-day solar panel technology. Portugal makes history by running on renewable energy for 107 hours in 2016. Let's get through some benefits of renewable energy. One wind turbine can generate enough electricity to power 14,000 houses. Wow! Renewable energy sources like solar and wind energy now generate nearly a third of the UK's electricity. Fossil fuels get 4 times the subsidy of renewables from G20 nations. Renewable energy generates 5 times more jobs than fossil fuels. And let's cover the primary drivers behind alternative energy in 2020. The worldwide energy sector is undergoing unprecedented changes. Consumer data shows a noticeable spike in consumption and demand in the energy marketplace. Scientists are now active in creating effective clean energy technologies such as PV panels, wind, nuclear fission, biomass, geothermal, marine energy, and focused solar energy. From what we've seen so far, there are 5 major types of renewable energy sources, and let's cover the 5 best renewable energy technologies that we see for 2020. There is a growing debate over the best, safest renewable energy sources that we can start using today. We rank these energy sources based on the ability to produce it cheap, fast, and safely. The first on the list is solar energy. Among the most popular varieties of renewable energy is solar energy. The sun generates solar power which lights up our entire planet. We can harvest energy directly from sunlight and convert it into electricity to power our homes and businesses. In turn, we can use solar energy to make hot water or charge battery systems. Solar power has benefits for your bank accounts and the environment too. The cost of solar energy is continually dropping, and installing solar on your house will almost always save you money over time. On top of that, producing solar power doesn't pollute or discharge fossil fuels, which means that you can lower your environmental impact, and that is awesome. Next on the list is wind power. Another kind of renewable energy that we interact with every day is wind. When you feel the wind, you're merely feeling air moving from place to place as a result of uneven heating of the Earth's surface. We can capture the power of the wind with massive turbines. While not necessarily a practical alternative for an individual homeowner, wind power is becoming more popular. We can see wind farms popping up around the world. Like solar power, wind power is pollution-free. It is becoming an increasing and significant clean energy source for providing electricity to grids across the globe. Third on our list is hydroelectricity. We can produce renewable energy from moving water just like we can from moving air. We generate power by transferring water through a turbine to create electricity. For instance, at big dams or waterfalls. Hydropower is currently a significant player in the alternative energy mix. Hydroelectric facilities now contribute over 7.5% of the power we use today. We can produce hydroelectricity through smaller jobs like submerged turbines and small dams on rivers and streams. Hydropower is also a non-polluting energy supply because it does not produce emissions. But hydropower has a higher environmental impact than some other clean energy sources. That is because they can change water levels, currents, and migration paths for fish and different freshwater life. And fourth on our list is geothermal energy. The core of the Earth has a natural energy source. Geothermal energy is a promising renewable energy source with massive potential for energy supply. The planet releases an enormous amount of geothermal heat energy that lies beneath its crust. Occasionally, that heat escapes in large amounts all at once, which we see as volcanic eruptions on the surface. Furthermore, we can use geothermal heat to heat or cool buildings. We can do this with ground source heat pump. The process involves creating steam by spinning a turbine below the ground. We can heat or chill the field year-round at a constant temperature. For example, geothermal energy accounts for 90% of home heating needs and 25% of energy needs in Iceland. However, there are some concerns with geothermal energy, including the cost of constructing a power plant and its relation to surface instability and earthquakes. Last on the list is biomass. One final example of renewable energy is biomass. Biomass energy refers to any power generated from living organic matter such as animals or plants. Biomass is a clean resource because plants only require energy from sunlight, and that's awesome. Biomass fuels are also thought to be carbon neutral, meaning that they don't put out any excess carbon dioxide into the air. All we need to do is to grow plants, harvest them, and burn them for energy. However, regrowing vegetation takes a lot of time. That leaves the debate over carbon neutral open for discussion. So we get down to the nitty-gritty, the good, the bad, and the ugly truth. To get to the heart of the debate over alternative renewable energy sources, we must address the good, the bad, and the ugly truth. These components help shape our opinions over the matter. We can parse the winning and losing arguments by understanding the advantages and disadvantages of these energy sources. Now, let's start with the good. We are working hard to promote renewable energy. We all know it has the power to tackle problems that a lot of us face. For instance, climate change on a global scale, atmospheric pollution in our cities and towns, and acidity in our oceans. Fortunately, green electricity is increasingly more fashionable and economical around the world. Here's one fact about renewable energy. Renewable energy will not run out. What do we mean by that? Green energy technologies utilize resources straight from the environment to generate power. These energy resources include sun, wind, tides, and biomass. Renewable resources won't run out, which is not valid for several kinds of modern fuels. Eventually, the fossil fuel system will be hard to extract over time because of driving costs and its impact on the environment. Secondly, renewable energy runs more efficiently. Typically, renewable energy technologies require less maintenance than generators that fossil fuel sources use. That is because power generating technologies like solar panels and wind turbines have few or no moving parts. Fewer maintenance needs means they will run for a longer time. Third, there are huge savings opportunities. Using renewable energy can save you money long term. Not only will you save on costs, but upkeep costs as well. When you are using a technology that generates power from the sun, wind, steam, or processes that are natural, you don't need to pay to refuel. The amount of money you can save using energy can fluctuate depending on a variety of factors. In most cases, transitioning to clean energy means anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars in savings. Fourth, better health and environmental benefits. Renewable energy production sources emit little to no greenhouse gases or pollutants to the air. It places a smaller carbon footprint and generally positive effect on the environment. On the other hand, fossil fuels emit significant levels of greenhouse gases. That increases global temperatures and the frequency of extreme weather events. Using fossil fuels not only emits greenhouse gases, but other harmful pollutants. Fossil fuels also contributes to the respiratory and circulatory health issues. You can help reduce pollutants and add to an overall healthier atmosphere. Lastly, less reliance on foreign energy source. You can create energy locally with clean energy technologies. The more renewable energy you're using for your energy needs, the less you're going to rely on imported energy. Now let's move on to the bad, the dirty, dirty bad. Although some forms of clean energy have been around for a while, we now have no choice but to adopt new renewable technology. Not everyone can afford it right now. The upfront cost, the technology is more expensive than traditional energy generators. There are often monetary incentives such as tax credits and rebates available to help alleviate your initial costs of renewable technology. On-demand availability may be limited. A number of these energy sources are not available year-round in some locations and instances. Some days might be windier than others, the sun does not shine at night, and droughts may occur for several days. On the other hand, fossil fuels may be turned off or on at any time, on demand. Because of the irregularity of some renewable energy sources, there's a high demand for energy storage. While there are storage technologies available now, they can be expensive, especially for large-scale renewable energy plants. It's worth noting that electricity storage capacity is growing as technology progresses. For instance, batteries are becoming more affordable with the new technology and in a much smaller, compact form. The local challenges that we face with renewable energy. The United States has a diverse geography with varying climates, topographies, vegetation, and more. It is a beautiful melting pot of landscapes, but also means that there are some geographies which are more suitable for renewable technologies than others. For example, a large farm with open space can be an excellent place for a residential wind turbine or a solar energy system, while a townhouse in a city with tall buildings will not have the ability to reap the advantages of either technology. If your property isn't suited for renewable energy technologies, there are other choices. If you're interested in solar but don't have a sunny property, you can purchase green energy or enroll in a community solar alternative. Now here's the ugly truth. In conclusion, renewable energy sources like hydropower, wind power, solar energy, geothermal energy, biomass are alternatives to fossil fuels that contribute to the improvement of the environment. They also help increase more opportunities for alternative energy supply and self-reliance. However, we may not all be on the same pace to adopt renewable energy. Our differences in opinions create a gridlock that stalls the innovation of technology that can help reduce the cost and speed for developing alternative energies. More importantly, we may not all be in the same timetable that our environment demands, so the more significant challenge may lie in understanding whether the Earth can sustain the current usage of fossil fuels. And that is a very, very scary thought. Fortunately, the positives do outweigh the negatives when it comes to renewable energy. Transitioning to renewables on a personal, corporate, or governmental level will not only help you save money, but also encourage a cleaner, healthier environment for the future. Thanks for listening, folks. Tune back in next week for another episode of A Slacker's Guide podcast. And again, I'm your host, Achilles Penn. Take care and stay green.
This episode of A Slacker's Guide podcast has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more do-it-yourself strategies and tactics to tackle the most challenging project you always dreamed of taking on. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. See you in the next episode.